Hi guys, welcome to the second day of this 10-day program to help you relieve sciatica. And we're going to start, if we can, in melting heart. So if you can get yourselves onto your knees as best you can. Okay? And then you're going to come onto your knees and keeping your hips above your knees, you're then going to gently come down onto your elbows. Okay, and this may be enough, in which case you can place a block under your head and just rest here. Okay, you'll feel this opening up through your lower back. You may be able to get your head onto the floor and extend the arms out in front. Melting heart helps to open up through the front of your body, but it also takes a very gentle back bend in your lower back. So it just really is helping to open up your lower back, increasing your mobility. Come inwards, resting your awareness on your breath. Follow your breath in and out. Really try and melt into the pose, melting heart. If you wish, you may be able to bend your elbows and put your hands behind your head, but don't push it too far. That might be something when you get to doing this for the 4th time later today. Or perhaps you started today with yesterday's practice and this is the second practice of the day. Maybe when you have done this a couple of times later on, you want to bend your elbows and bring your hands to rest behind your head. You may be on a block, resting on your forearms, wherever you meet yourself in your practice today. We're going to take 2 more smooth breaths here. Wherever you are, just watch your shoulders aren't creeping up by your ears, and as you breathe out, gently release into the pose. And again. And then we're going to gently walk our hands back, allowing our bottom to rest on our thighs. Now, you may not get your bottom onto your thighs. Highly likely, onto your heels, that you won't. So grab a blanket and place that blanket between your thighs and your calves. We were on holiday and I had to roll up a towel and stick a towel between my thighs and my calves so that I could get onto the floor to open up through the lower back and release into it. I probably had something under my head to start with as well, probably a book, yeah, coming into child's pose. Perhaps your knees are together and you're resting your chest on your thighs. Perhaps your knees are wide and your chest comes between your thighs. Perhaps you don't need the support underneath your head and you can get the head on the floor. You know, perhaps you don't need the support behind your thighs. And of course, if you don't have a blanket or a towel you can use, you can always place cushions under there. And then just melting into child's pose. So this is a beautiful pose of surrender, and one of my favourite practices is to say when there is stuff going on that is overwhelming me, I surrender to all that is, as it is now, and so it is. I surrender to all that is, as it is now, and so it is. Now, I have to be honest, I return to this practice every time I did child's pose. I had never experienced an injury like it, and to be in that much pain and that much discomfort, I just want you to know this is a safe space. I hear you, I feel it. I was there, and this I surrender practice really helped me to let go of the stories that I was telling myself. I surrender to all that is, as it is now, and so it is. And then when you're ready, whether your head's resting on a block Wherever you are, you gently start to roll yourself back up. And that might take a bit longer than I just did. And if you can, you remove that from underneath you and you gently swivel your legs round. So the next stage for me was to try and get into an upright seated position. So I'm going to shimmy facewards, face on. And I made sure that my foot was not, I wasn't resting the ankles on one another because any kind of added discomfort was just too much. So I had the feet placed in front of one another and I supported myself from behind because actually even just sitting upright like this was quite painful. So I supported myself from behind and just allowed my knees to move towards the floor, releasing through the hips. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. And then I place my feet on the floor, bring the knees together, take breathing in, and then as I breathe out, lower the knees down to one side. Breathing in, coming through centre, breathing out, lower the knees down to the other side. So windscreen wipering. Breathing in, taking the knees through centre. As you breathe out, lower the knees down. Breathing in, coming through centre and lowering the knees down to the other side. And then swapping the cross so the other foot went in front. And again, just leaning back on the hands, opening the knees out. And just breathing into it. And then placing the feet on the floor again, knees together. As you breathe out, lower the knees down to one side, windscreen wipering the knees, breathing in through centre, breathe out to the other side. Coming through centre as you breathe in and breathe out. You may find that your knees get to here, so just go wherever. You might not get the knees as far down as this. Do what feels right for your body. This is all just about moving the body. The most important thing is to just keep active. So gentle walks, gentle yoga. Try not to get too stationary. And bringing the feet in front of one another. And this time I started to then move the hands from behind as far forward as I could get, and that was about it to start with, okay? But you go as far as you can, yeah? Breathing in, lifting through the sternum, and as you breathe out, you gently release into it. And holding the pose, I would notice with each breath I could gently extend my hands a bit further. You can't see them, they're off camera at this point, but just gently allowing. And, you know, initially I was about here, was about it, yeah? But slowly, 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 I could get a bit closer to the floor. Look, it's not a competition. We're not trying to get as far down as I am. You're just trying to open everything up. And then you would walk back really slowly and gently, placing both feet on the floor. Gently windscreen wipering the knees. Okay, and then other foot in front. Walking the hands, so lift up with the hands behind you and then gently walk them round. And see if that's it, stay here, yeah. Just notice it opening up through the outer hips and the lower back. And you keep repeating this practice 3 or 4 times today. If you can, come back to it all the way through the program if it was one that particularly resonated. We'll keep coming back to all the poses that we're doing in these early days. Just building it up a notch each day, okay? Noticing any little shifts, becoming mindful of how your body was moving yesterday, how it's moving today, stopping if there's any pain or discomfort that feels more than a gentle easing and stretching. Coming back to centre. And then placing both feet on the floor. Exhale, take the knees down to one side. Breathing in, coming through centre, take the knees down to the other side. Breathing in, coming through centre, legs down to the other side. Breathing in, coming through centre, legs down to the other side. Coming back to centre. And now we're going to get down. And now we're going to come down onto our back. And you will need a block or a DVD box set or a decent sized hardback book. So we're going to come to rest on our back. So remember how we did this yesterday, really gently and gingerly. You won't be able to move fast if you were in the same kind of state as I was. Not very long ago, you won't be able to move very fast. So I'm trying to go as slowly as I can. And you're going to have your feet hip distance apart. And you're going to use your block probably on the flattest level, okay? And you're going to gently slide your block underneath your bottom. Now, if you don't have a block, I didn't have a block with me, so I used rolled up towel and just slid the towel under, and then I just melted onto the towel, okay? This is supported bridge. You're opening up through the front of the body, opening up into that lower back, twists and back bends and gently stretching through that lower back and through the outer hip. This is how we're gently coaxing the sciatic nerve out of that muscle, that spasmed muscle that's got trapped, okay? If you don't have a block, you can slide a DVD box set on its flattest side underneath. Comes to rest right at the base of your spine or your sacrum. If that doesn't feel like it's giving you enough of a stretch, you can maybe place the block on the next level up. But I would take it really gently. Maybe you come to this practice for the 3rd or 4th time in the day, and that's when you shift the block to that slightly higher level. Really just try and melt into it. So you'll notice there's been a little gentle progression from yesterday. You can interlace the practice from yesterday with today's practice. You can choose how you want to do this. You may just do each day in its entirety and repeat it 3 or 4 times. And then you're going to slide the block out from underneath your bottom, hugging your knees into your chest, counterposing that back bend, gently stretching out through the lower back, massaging the spine on the floor, rolling from side to side, or maybe taking the knees in one direction and back in the other direction. And then releasing the arms, taking the arms out at shoulder height or in cactus with the elbows bent. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lower the knees down to one side. So I'm going to grab my block and place the block under my knees. Maybe you need the block for the support, turning my head in the opposite direction. Perhaps you don't need any support and you can rest the knees on the floor. Just breathing nice and smoothly. And then bring the knees through center as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, lower the knees down to the other side, turning your head in the opposite direction. Keep breathing nice and smoothly. Bring the knees through center as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring the soles of the feet together. Resting the feet on the outside edge. Hands either side of the hips in Supta Konasana. This, in the first few days, I found the most comfortable way to go into Shavasana. Allow your breathing to return to normal and your eyes to close. Bring your awareness to the crown of your head, softening your forehead, releasing the space between your eyes and around your eyes. Relaxing your mouth, tongue and jaw. Softening your throat and neck. Releasing your shoulders and relaxing your arms and hands. Softening through your torso and down your spine. Relaxing your hips, pelvis and buttocks by straightening your legs out. Or of course you can place a blanket underneath your knees. If it's more comfortable for you to have your knees bent, place a blanket rolled up underneath your knees or cushions. And then allow your legs to relax and release as you release through your thighs and your hamstrings and your shins and your calves. And relax your feet and your toes. Resting here as long as you would like to. If it feels comfortable for you to do so, invite in that blue light that we bathed in yesterday, that healing light. Allow the energy to dissolve that discomfort in your buttocks, maybe in your spine or down through your hamstrings, through your leg. Just allow wherever you're feeling the worst of the sciatica to be dissolved by this beautiful blue healing light. Allowing that light to center in on the discomfort. Dissolving and easing away this discomfort. And of course, as always, you can rest here for longer, but if you're ready to transition into your day, you bring some movement to your fingers and toes by wriggling them. Perhaps you want to stretch, take your arms along the floor and stretch. Maybe you couldn't do this yesterday and you realise you can do it today. It's all these little mini wins that we're looking for, guys, yeah? Appreciate them and acknowledge them. You can see the development and the progress and how things are changing. Gently roll over onto your right hand side if you can, or onto your left, whatever feels right for you to do. You may notice a little shift as you take a few breaths to centre yourself before you start to move upwards. And if you can, you're going to use your hands to guide you into a comfortable seated position. This might be really hard, in which case you need to take it very slowly and steadily, okay? Coming onto your knees and perhaps onto all fours. Really work within your limits. I rather wish I had recorded this when I was at my worst and I could have captured these moments of that transition, because I know that was really hard, and I think it was a matter of just sort of getting onto my knees and working out how I was going to get to a sort of upright position. You do what you can, okay? You're going to bring your hands to heart center. Take a moment of gratitude for committing to this practice today. Take a moment to acknowledge any shifts from yesterday. And take a moment to commit to repeating this practice at least one more time today, if not 2 or 3. And if you're already on that 3rd or 4th, well done. I salute you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Namaste.